I'm Aurélie Harp, and today I'm the face of America. To conservative men, I don't want to tell them anything in terms of I'm not here to be their moral compass or their mother, and that's certainly not what I want. I guess I'd rather ask them questions and really ask them to reflect on. I understand that there is always you're on the spectrum of emotions, and on the spectrum of being in life, you can be radical and you can be conservative. And it's not that one is better than the others. It's just like to reflect on what are you afraid of? What are the changes you're afraid of? If you let gay people get married or adopt a kid, if you let transgender having the same rights than non-transgender, if you let women run for office, what are you really afraid for? Of losing your power? Of losing your masculinity? Of losing your humanity? And what is it you could gain, or how rich it could be to not be afraid of that change, and how can we help you accept change? I'm French-American. I'm a filmmaker, producer, the founder of the Womanity project, and I'm also a coach and improv coach, doing corporate and training with individuals and corporations. So the Womanity project is a multimedia platform around gender, race, and humanity. When we ask questions to people, we interview them, share their story, to ask them, what does it mean to be gendered? Are you gendered? What is the impact in your own life? How can you create change? And the Womanity project has evolved. So it started as a podcast and a series. Now we're producing, and we just very proud now, we just produced our first short movie called Lala's World, talking about Lala Zanel, a transgender woman of color, activist, the first transgender woman of color to go to the White House, to brief the White House during the Black Month's history, and talking at the Senate, like very, and what we loved about Lala is that it's not the typical narrative that you hear of the victim transgender. It's really a story about love and strength, and how to fight for your own humanity. And the second part of the Womanity project is as well education, and we're organizing workshops with individuals and organizations around gender, race, diversity, and again, how to bring more humanity, how to build ourselves as strong human beings who are able to raise their voice and fight for what they think is fair and just for the world. The problem right now is more about the toxic masculinity and the fact that men are not allowed to talk about their own vulnerability, or that the only way they can express their emotion is through anger or through authority or through saying no. But I really believe that when you talk to anybody about their daughter, their wife, their sisters, or even their own self, we all have a part in us that is a part of femininity and a part of masculinity, and it's all about educating and giving a choice for the men to reflect, as I said, and think about how they can create, how they can liberate themselves as well. I'm from France, and I was born in Lyon, which I think is a pretty conservative city. I would consider my family being conservative in a way, you would say they're like the center right on the political spectrum, and at the same time, I was always encouraged to speak out, to be myself, and I'm the lefty of the family, I'm the progressive of the family, and I really appreciated in a way the fact that we could have a debate, because since early on, I was considered as a person. Now, saying that, I also knew that I was a feminist from day one, because there are things you observe at the table. You observe that men were talking and the women were going in the kitchen to do the dishes, or and discussions were happening, by the way, in the kitchen. Very interesting discussions. But the mix was not there, and I was always the one staying at the table with the men, speaking up and not understanding why my voice would not matter. Ideally, we would like a world that is not gendered and where you could be whoever you are. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. So I don't think it's a question of should there be or should there not be. It's a question of the evolution of mentality as well as progress, and we all see that in history you have moments of progressive wave when people are accepted the way they are, and by the way, transgender in certain cultures are more accepted than they are today in America. The same way that gay people like 50 years ago were having no rights, and now you can see that their rights are really progressing. And at the same time, women's rights are constantly in the world when you see being questioned. So it's all about finding this balance where I would dream of a world to not be gendered, and that's the way the world should be. Unfortunately, we're not there yet.